So this is by far always the most requested video on my channel, and I am so happy that it is because you know how happy I am to bring this content. Like, talking about goals is by far one of my favorite topics ever to talk about. So today I'm bringing you my 2023 goals. There's over 100 of them. Like, I don't even know how many it is at this point. You're gonna see it in the title probably. Anyway, because I love talking about this so much, I actually am making this a 3-part series. I'm uploading every day. So this is part 1. This is my goals for 2023. Part 2 is gonna be my Notion setup and like the system that I'm using to track my goals because it's completely different this year. And part 3 is going to be my language goals for 2023. So this includes all of my goals apart from my language goals. This is just to preface to say that I dream very big. I set a lot of goals, but that's just how I am. No, honestly though, playing Sims my whole childhood did something to me because why do I feel the need to do 50 different hobbies at the same time? I don't know. Okay, so like I said, there's going to be a whole video on it tomorrow, but I want to give you a very, very brief overview of how I'm actually like systemizing my goals this year because it's a very different way to how I used to do it before. So before I would just have like the different categories in my life that I want to set goals in, and then I would just set really random goals. Like one goal would be like a number-based goal, one goal would just be like an intention and not really a goal, one goal, like every single goal was not equal. So this year what we did is we have objective goals, which are goals that sound quite vague. So for example, meet like-minded people. That is very vague. How the hell are you gonna do that? Then in those objective goals we have 2 goals. So we have project goals and action goals. So project goals are goals that require different steps. So it's almost like a project. You cannot just finish it like this, like it's a project. And key result goals are goals that are just measured by numbers. So for example, reaching a specific amount of subscribers is not something I can fully control, but it's something I would like to measure my progress by. Therefore, it is a key result goal. Also, another thing, the goals that I'm actually counting as goals are the project and key result goals. So the objective goals, I'm not really counting them as the goal because it's like, even though that is the objective goal, there could be like 5 goals within that. And then also we have habits associated to the goals, but they're connected to the objective goals, not the project goals, because it is the habits that you need in order to get closer to that general objective goal. And then within the project and the key result goals, we also have action steps, which are little tiny steps that you can break down into little days. Like for example, I don't know, if you want to like start paying taxes in Spain, your first step might be like to contact a specific accountant. That's step 1. So baseline explained. You will kind of get this more as I'm talking about my goals and also in my video tomorrow, but I just wanted to explain. Second thing I want to quickly talk about is my mindset on goals, because I feel like a lot of people, like I said in the beginning, will watch this and be like, girl, you're doing too much, like you're not gonna achieve this. I don't believe that. Like, I don't know where the year will take me, and I do agree that like halfway through the year I might look at my goals and be like, okay, well, this is not even my priority anymore. But do I believe I can actually achieve all of this? Yes. If I really put my mind to it, yes. Because at the end of the day, if I don't achieve any of these goals, it's on me. It's self-sabotage. It's not believing I can achieve it. At the end of the day, I promise you, it's on me. And that really sounds like it places a huge pressure on me, but it really doesn't. It almost liberates me because I'm like, I am literally a Sims character. I can do anything. I can literally do anything. Everything that's on my list here, I can literally just tick it off like this. Like, it's just another thing I want to say is I used to think that setting really big goals was really scary because if you don't achieve them, then you have technically failed. This year, the goals I was setting are higher than I initially thought I could have achieved, because my way of thinking about it is that if you set, for example, you want to reach 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Obviously, it's a very hard thing to do, and it doesn't only depend on you, but I'm just going to use that as an example. If you set your goal as 100,000, you're going to work so hard, you're going to focus so hard on that number, and you might reach it and tick it off and be like, yay, I reached 100,000 subscribers. Whereas if you set a goal to reach 1 million subscribers, you're going to set systems in place, start habits, start taking risks, start doing all these different things that you might have not have thought of if you were reaching for 100,000, because you're like, my goal is 10 times bigger. Like, I have to reach 1 million. And okay, you might not reach that million, but you could reach 400,000. You could reach 600,000. You didn't reach your goal, but you just reached 4 times more than you had initially planned to aim for. Anyway, if that makes sense, that's my way of thinking. Now that we have that out the way, let's start because we have a lot to talk about. So even though I have that whole objectives, project goal, key result, habit, action steps thing, we still have categories we're planning within. So the categories I have are finance, learning, business, health, hobbies, social, self-improvement, general life, social media, and languages. So let's start with finance goals. So my first objective goal is to pay off all my debts, and the way I'm going to be doing that is first of all by paying off my student debt, which is not super high. It's around £11,000 because I did 1.5 years of uni and then I dropped out, but I still have debt. So I have to pay that off. And I also want to catch up on my UK taxes because I moved countries and the tax stuff, like it was all really complicated and I feel like I'm behind and I don't want to get sued. I'm not gonna get sued, but I could get penalized. So I have to sort that out. My next objective goal is to become a full-time trader. So earlier this year, I did a really good trading course and I felt really comfortable with it. But that was at the point where I had just moved to Spain and I didn't have my things set up. And in order to open a trading account, you need to have like specific numbers, like a tax identification number or like a residency, like anything like that. And I was literally in my process of moving when I was doing this course. Like I had just moved. So when I had just finished this course, I was ready to trade, but I couldn't because I physically couldn't open an account. And then when I finally did open the account, I lost a little bit of that confidence because I was studying every single day for a month. And then for about 2 to 3 weeks, I did nothing. And I really lost a little bit of my confidence. So I need to get back into that. So my 2 goals are to learn how to swing and day trade. I am very positive I would like to focus on swing trading, but I want to try out day trading. And I also want to have a portfolio worth $5,000. This is not a lot for trading, but I want to focus more on paying off my debts this year. So 5,000 I feel like is a good start. And the 2 habits that are associated to this objective goal are to analyze the stock market every day and also to look for trading setups every day. My next financial goal is to stay on top of my finances, track my expenses, budget, all of that, because I'm very not on top of it. I literally, if you ask me how much I earned this year, I don't know. I have to go and sit down and add it up. I should have this information readily available. So my 3 goals for this objective goal is to first of all create monthly budgets and actually track expenses every single month. Save up for a rainy day. So I think for me, I'm gonna aim for about 10,000. And I also want to start working with a financial advisor. For some reason, it's really hard for me to find one, but I need one because I'm not good with money. Like if I can praise myself for all these different things, money is not one of them. I'm so bad at managing it. And the last objective finance goal is to organize all my finance things in Spain specifically because like I mentioned already 50 times, I moved to Spain recently. The bureaucracy here is crazy. There's a lot of things you have to do. So I have to first register self-employed. I have to also open a Spanish bank account. And I also want to learn about the Spanish tax system in depth because as much as I believe in delegating, I feel like the finance world is something that you really should be understanding on your own because when it comes to laws, a lot of them are not as straightforward as you think and a lot of them are up for interpretations. And how can you take people's advice if you don't really understand what they're talking about? So also something I want to mention about habits, I'm gonna talk about this more in the Notion setup video, but you're gonna see all these habits and you're gonna think like I'm trying to start every single one of these habits on the 1st of January. That is not what I'm trying to do. I have a whole page on Notion dedicated to habits and I'm not starting them all at the same time. I'm prioritizing which are more important to me, starting with them. Once they're already a habit and I don't really have to think about them, I'm bringing in more. The reason I say that is because our next section is health. And my first objective goal is to create new health habits. So we're gonna call out so many habits here. Actually, I have 2 goals in this objective goal as well. And that is to first of all, fix my sleeping schedule properly. Please. I have not had a proper sleeping schedule for the past 4 years. It's honestly worrying. I am very much a morning person who lives a night owl lifestyle and I don't get it. And the next goal is to have a yearly average of 10,000 steps. This is actually going to be quite easy because since I moved to Barcelona, my monthly average is about 8,000 to 9,000 steps. Okay, so for the habits, we have a lot. So the first habit and goal is to go to a sauna regularly. I have a gym that's right beside me and it has a sauna and I always say I'm going to go to it and I never go and it's amazing for you, so I need to make that regular. Also, I want to incorporate the Wim Hof method fully. So breathing method method twice a day, and also the cold showers every single day. The next habit is to cook regularly because I cannot be eating out as much as I'm eating out. Next objective goal is to start going to the gym regularly. So the 3 goals I have within this is to, first of all, start working with a personal trainer. I feel like I really need this because I'm scared to use a lot of the machines. I don't know the proper form. This is not like forever, but like maybe once in a while, like once a month for like a few months, I can work with a personal trainer just to try it out. Also because the idea of having a personal trainer really scares me. So I really want to do it because why does it scare me? Like, it's a human being. Why am I scared of you? I don't know. Next goal is to build my confidence in the gym. This is kind of what I said with not knowing how to use machines, not knowing the proper form. Like, I do not want to use a machine because I'm terrified that someone will look at me and be like, well, she's doing the form wrong. She looks really dumb. And nobody thinks that way. They might be like, oh, she's doing the form wrong. Should I go help her? But it's like, in those moments, like I get really bad gym anxiety, if that's a thing. And another thing is I want to learn how to do a press handstand. This is really hard. You need a lot of arm and ab strength for this. I saw it on TikTok and I was just like, I want to live my gymnastic calisthenic dream. Like, I used to always want to do this when I was younger, and I feel like if I put my mind to it and I practice it from the beginning of the year, by the end of the year, there's no way I won't reach this. And the habit that we have associated with this that I'm actually going to track is going to the gym. My next goal is to improve my posture and reduce back pain because I am having way too much back pain for a 20-year-old. Like, what is going on? So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to start going to an osteopath or a chiropractor. I did go to an osteopath in London and he fixed my life in like 4 sessions. I had so much hip and knee pain. Once again, at 20 years old. Can we talk about that? That's not good. And he literally fixed me. He like... and he fixed me. And I also want to start investing into regular massages because, oh my god, they change my whole week. And right now I'm at that point where I see them as such a luxury, and they are, but in my life I want to make it not a luxury. I want to make it a regular thing that I do for myself because, first of all, it helps my mental state, it helps my physical state. Like, it's such a good investment into myself, and that is something I really want to prioritize this year. So first, I'm gonna start with like once a month because they're expensive. Eventually, once I start earning more, every 2 weeks or like every 3 weeks, and then every 2 weeks, and then eventually every week. Once a week is like my ideal life situation, like once a week. And the habit that I have for this goal is to do posture exercises. I don't know how often. I'm guessing like 2 to 3 times a week. I haven't fully planned that out yet, but yeah. The next health goal I have is to become more flexible, and the goal I have within this is to be able to do all the splits. So the front splits and the middle splits. Front splits is going to be easy. Like, I have had the front splits before, and whenever I don't stretch for a long time, once I start stretching again, it only takes me like a month. Not even. It takes me like 2 weeks to get my splits. But my middle splits, oh my god. I have never in my life had my middle splits, ever. And I'm so far from it. But in a year, like, I think sometimes we forget how long a year is. Like, okay, you might look back in January and be like, oh my god, that was crazy. That seems like not so long ago. But like, it's a long time. Like, I basically dropped out of uni at the end of December. So say, for example, January, I had just dropped out of uni. That was a whole different life. Like, that was a different, like, I was so... At that point, I hadn't been to Brazil, I hadn't been to Turkey, I hadn't been to Dubai, I hadn't moved country. Like, that for me is 5 years ago. So I can do a lot in a year. I can do the splits, okay? And the habit that is associated to this for me is to stretch every evening or like 5 times a week. And my next health goal is to get some health checkups. So I want to get some tests for my blood and also my hormones to see if like everything is okay, because blood, my diet changes a lot. Like, for a while I was vegan, and then I was very not vegan, and then I was vegetarian. Like, it's a lot of things keep changing in my diet. So I want to make sure I'm doing okay. And I also want to do a gut health test because I've heard a lot about this, mostly from TikTok and also from my mom. Taking a gut health test will point out anything that is not perfectly good in my microbiome, and then I can work on it naturally before something happens that I have to deal with it through medicine, if that makes sense. Our next category is business. So I have 4 objective goals here. The first one being grow my business. By business, I just mean kind of like, this one is very general because it's just like YouTube, and like I sell Notion templates, and I don't know, it's all kind of very mixed right now. So I have a lot of goals here. So my first goal within this is to open a limited company, because there becomes a specific income threshold where when you're earning a specific amount, like you are losing money on the taxes you're paying as a self-employed person. Whereas if you were operating as a limited company and you were an employee in your limited company, you would actually be saving a lot on taxes. Everything is legal, by the way. In Spain, I don't know what that threshold is, so I don't know yet if it's beneficial for me to open a limited company, but by the end of the year, 100%, this should be something that's happening or in the process or already done. The next goals are to hire an assistant and also hire a content manager. They don't have to be full-time, like even just like an assistant like once a week just to like help me out with some admin stuff, because once again, I'm all about delegating, and I for a long time was so scared of doing that. And recently, like literally last month basically, or the month before, I just started working with an editor, and I love working with her. She's one of my best friends already, and it just showed me how if you open up to these like fears that you have, you can actually get so much more out of it than you even expected. Like I thought I was really good just gonna have like 4 more hours in my week. Like no, first of all, like I said, new best friend, and it's a best friend that I'm gonna have for life, and it's just like, it's not just 4 more hours of your time. First of all, it's like 20 more hours of my time. Second of all, you get so much more energy to do other things. I feel like this year I kind of gotten over my fear a little bit of hiring someone. I only have one person who's working with me right now, but we're gonna keep working on that in the year to come. So the next goal is to work with 3 new people. So hopefully this is the assistant and content manager, but someone else as well, I don't know. Create 3 Skillshare classes. I have one right now. And like when I look back on it now, I made it not almost 3 years ago. I made it 2 years ago. And looking back on it now, I'm like, that could be done so much better. So I really want to either update it or just make 3 completely new ones, or like update the one and then 2 new ones, but I don't know yet. And I also want to release 6 more online products on Gumroad. Right now I have 3 templates on Gumroad, but that is specifically only Notion templates. So there's something else that I'm kind of working on right now. So that's very vague, but I'm already sharing a lot. Like you can't expect me to give you everything. The next objective goal is to create a new course. Once again, I'm sorry I'm not sharing everything, but I want to create a specific course, and I'm going to be creating it hopefully with somebody. That's very vague, but I'm counting it in here because when I watch this back, like in 2 years, I'll be like, oh yeah, that was a goal. But like, I know what I'm talking about. So I'm keeping it in, but it's being vague. But I want to create a new course. This is going to be towards more the end of the year though. Like this is like a 4th quarter type goal, like next winter. And I also want to brainstorm and create another new online project, but that is not me being vague. That is just because I don't know yet. That's why I want to brainstorm. But like, I don't mean just like sit down for an hour and brainstorm. I mean like really think about it. Like for example, dedicate a whole month where I'm like researching and like brainstorming and like figuring out what problems I'm having that could be fixed. You know, like business ideas essentially. The next objective goal is to start a new business. So I have 2 very specific ideas in mind, and I want to start both of them. They're not huge, which is why there's 2, because I wouldn't focus on 2, but because like I said, they're not huge, there's 2, and I'm so sorry, once again I cannot share them. But moving on, the next goal is to meet like-minded people, and the reason this is not in the social category is because when I say like-minded people, I mean, of course I want to meet new friends, but I also specifically also want to focus on meeting more peers that are kind of in a situation like me, like either content creators or interested in entrepreneurship or trading, anything like that. So the first thing I want to do is to start a mastermind. If you guys don't know what a mastermind is, it's basically like a group of, I don't know how many people, like I personally have seen masterminds with like 15 people that work really well, or like 10 people, but I was watching videos on this today and they were like 4 people maximum, and I was like, that's not a mastermind, like what? But mastermind is basically a group of people where like you meet, for example, every week or every month, and you talk about like your business goals and like blah blah blah, your challenges, and you all try to help each other because you're all coming from different perspectives, but you're all very like successful and you can like help each other, and also networking and all that. So I want to start one of those because I really want to be in one. No one has invited me to one. I don't see anyone having one, so I'm just gonna make one. And I also want to watch all the Boss Babe masterclasses. So if you guys have not heard of Boss Babe, it's essentially a huge mastermind. So literally what I just mentioned, but for like thousands of people, where they pay a monthly subscription, and there's like calls every week that they can attend, which is like coaching calls and like mindful Q&A. I don't really know what they are because I haven't attended, but I've been subscribed for a while. And so the habit I have for this goal is actually to start attending those calls every week. But the reason I want to watch all the Boss Babe masterclasses classes, and there's quite a lot, is because in those calls sometimes they reference some of the information that they have in their classes, and those master classes are actually really useful. So I want to watch all of them. I have a whole separate page to track all of these classes, like which one I have actually watched, which one I haven't, but that is a big goal. Next category we have is hobbies. So my first hobby goal is to become a better dancer. This objective goal has the most like goals within it. Like I just realized how important this was to me. Like if I had to choose like top 10 goals out of all of these 100 something, like the dancing ones would be up there. So the goals I have within this are go to 50 dance classes, go to 10 heels classes, try out 3 new dance styles, so something like contemporary, house, maybe like bachata. I also want to start ballet to live out my childhood dream, because I used to do ballet until I was like 8 years old, and then I had a lot of issues with my collarbone. I got like, I don't know how many operations, like I had a lot of operations on this collarbone. It was not good, and they made me leave ballet because I couldn't like lift my arms. The next goal is to complete a 30-day dancing challenge, because basically the benefit with a lot of my goals is they are my goals, but they also are content. So another thing, like if you're like, Anna, this is so much, like why are you doing so much? Because I feel like if I had a full-time job, if I was a mom, for example, if I had other responsibilities, this would be crazy. I would not be able to do this, but I'm in a really great position where I can, like, my whole life can be content. Doing all these different hobbies, doing this is content, and it's also for me. So it's kind of like a win-win. So a 30-day dancing challenge, which would consist of, like, for example, me going to like 2 hours of dance classes every single day, would make a really cool video. But it's also a way for me to like dance for 30 days in a row, because you know what I mean, and I would see so much growth on that. The next goal I have is to take 50 Steezy classes. Steezy is basically like an online dance classes thing. The next goal is to learn to play the electric guitar. So I want to learn how to play 5 simple songs. I don't know which ones yet, but just 5 simple songs. I'd just be able to play them, because right now I don't really care about specific like music theory. That is my goal at some point, to learn that, not because I want to become a musician, but because, I don't know, the more you know, it's fun. But right now I'm just literally learning to be able to play something. So I want to play 5 simple songs. And I also want to learn how to play a Måneskin song, because at the end of the day, they are why I even wanted to start in the first place. The next objective goal is to become a better singer. And the project goal that I have within this is one of the only ones that, like, the objective goal was basically the same as the project goal, because I didn't know how to rename it. Like, basically my goal is to start learning how to sing. But this is more of a habit. So the habit that I have associated to this is to do singing warm-ups every day. But I do want to learn more. So I've seen like specific videos where it's like how to sing this song, and then it's like a vocal teacher breaking down like, oh, you can sing this better, you can sing this better. So what I'm thinking is maybe like I'll choose like a song every 2 weeks, and I'll focus on that song, and I'll try to do it as best as I can, and I'll obviously like record my progress. The next category is learning. So our first objective goal is to read more regularly. I want to read 52 new books, but this does not include actually actively reading all the time. This also includes audiobooks. The next goal is to learn more about art, culture, history, all of that, because right now that is honestly something that does interest me, but I just know nothing about. So the way I'm gonna do that is, first of all, I want to start visiting more museums and art shows in Barcelona, but I want to understand what I'm seeing. So I don't want to just blindly go into a museum and walk around. Like, no, like if I'm going to a museum, I want to like do my research before, like, oh, what are the artworks that might interest me? Oh, like there's an exhibition for this artist. What is the, like, where's this artist from? Like, what's their story? Whatever, like, what is their style? Like, I want to understand that world more, because at the moment it's not something I understand. And the next goal is to learn about a new country every single month. So once again, from the point of view of learning out of actual interest, not just like, okay, today I'm gonna choose the UK. Okay, now every single day for the month I have to like learn the dates of when the Queen, I don't know, whatever. Like, no. So for example, if you search up Vox and then a country, like for example Vox Brazil, you're gonna see a lot of videos about what's happening in Brazil right now that are very specific, like very, very specific situations. And to me, it's a lot more interesting to start like watching random videos, and then I might see something in a video and be like, oh, what's this about? Like, what happened in this? You know, like naturally out of curiosity start researching something, not for the goal of just making Anki flashcards of it and just like learning it just to know it. I mean, I might make a few Anki flashcards along the way just because that's who I am, but I want the intention to be different. The next goal is to continue learning through new courses. So I have a subscription to Masterclass, which is a really cool website full of masterclasses of very, very, very smart people. Some of these people are successful because of their mindset and their way of thinking about their skill or about their interest. So what I want to learn from them is not specifically the skill itself. For example, there's a masterclass on James Cameron, and like he's not going to teach me filmmaking in 3 hours, but like it's his mindset behind it. It's the way he thinks about it. It's the way, you know what I mean? Then I can take what I need to hear from that and apply it to the things I'm doing. I also want to complete a public speaking course because this is not something I want to work on this year specifically, but I do in the future see myself like public speaking a lot. But it's something that I can start having a little bit of a skill in it, because right now there's zero. And I also want to complete an online acting course. This is from what I said earlier about the singing thing. Like, it's not because I want to act, it's because I want to get out of my comfort zone and learn how to like express myself more freely. Like, if I do an improv course, oh my god, that's gonna be the most uncomfortable thing in my life, and I love it. Like, I need to do that. And the next objective goal is to take new courses specifically to become a better content creator. So I want to complete the Instaboss and Instalogia course. They're both courses made by Russian speaking influencers that I follow that I will put here. Instaboss hasn't come out yet, but I know it's gonna come out I think in March. And Instalogia, I bought it I think last month, but I haven't completed it yet. So I also really need to take a copywriting course or a writing course, because not because I want to become a copywriter, but because I have noticed that I'm not bad at expressing myself when it comes to speaking. Like, I feel quite comfortable on camera. I feel like I'm not too scared to say what I want. Like, in general, like, this video seems crazy. Like, I'm sharing personal goals with you, and I don't care. Like, this doesn't feel like an invasion of privacy to me. So when it comes to speaking on camera or like opening up to people, I'm very trusting. But when it comes to writing, you can read my Instagram captions. Like, I'm not good at writing. Like, I just seem very closed off. I don't share. There's no emotion in what I write. And like I said, I'm not trying to write a book, but even just like writing an Instagram caption, writing, like if I'm posting a story, like I want to be able to connect with people more through writing. Even when I meet a new friend, I start sending them voice messages from the get-go, because I cannot express myself on text. Like, I physically cannot. I need them to hear my voice. I need them to hear like kind of my emotions when I'm saying something. And that's a good thing. Like, I'm pat on the back that I feel comfortable with doing that, but I also want to be able to write as well. I don't want to just be like, well, no, I'm a voice message person, I'm a speaking person, like I'm not going to be writing any captions. Like, no, I want to be able to write. That is one of my weak spots, so I want to do that. And I also want to learn how to use my cameras properly. This was a goal last year and I didn't do it. I'm on the automatic mode. Next category is life. So my first objective goal is to get everything set up in Spain. So that includes to get my health insurance, get my social security number, get a digital certificate, which is kind of like a power of attorney, but not really. Well, no, not at all. It's not at all. It's literally being able to sign documents online, but you have to like go and prove that it's like, you have to go with your passport to get your digital certificate, and then you can do stuff online. And I also want to get my CUE, which is basically a residential card. It's not interesting, but it's something that I don't have that I need in order to open a bank account. So the next goal is I want to travel to places that connect with me. So I specifically said Dubai and Bali. I loved Dubai. I loved Dubai, and I am going to be back there this year. I do not care. The only thing is I don't know who I'm gonna be back with, because I went to Dubai alone and I didn't like it alone. Like, it was just more about the thing that like Dubai is a place to be with people. If you're my friend and you want to go to Dubai, I'm expecting a message. The next goal is to visit Bali. I've never been in Bali. Like, I really, to be honest, it could be anywhere in Indonesia. I really just want to visit Indonesia. Next life goal is to organize my digital life. So I want to complete a full digital declutter. So like go through all my photos, organize them into files. I actually planned a whole 3-part series, like a long 3-part series, and I never filmed it because I was in the process of moving. I use that as an excuse a lot, but that was last year was a lot. I also want to set up Obsidian, which is kind of like a note-taking application, but a lot of people use it to set up their second brain, which is a whole thing that you can research, but it's basically like a lot of information is not made for remembering, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't keep track of it. So Obsidian is basically like any of the courses I've mentioned in this whole video, like anything I want to learn, anything I want to learn about countries, anything I want to learn about the tax system, anything I want to learn, like anything, this is where all that information will be going. But it's not difficult to use, but you do have to learn to use it. You can't just start, like there's specific kind of system. So I want to learn how to use that. I want to fully reorganize my Notion. Like I kind of have this thing where every few months I go through every page and I remake it and make it better. So at this point I have so many old Notion pages, just like so many, so much information, and I want to just take a week at some point and just like go through everything. Like, and the last thing is I want to start doing monthly reflections. So I'm gonna make this a whole Notion page and just do this every single month. But I feel like right now this is not something I do. So for example, if you ask me like what are your big achievements of 2022, I almost forget a lot of them, because like I said, for me January feels like 5 years ago. The next objective goal is to work on my style and also build new kind of self-care routines, so more like appearance wise. So first one is I want to have a photo session, because my family loves, like they used to love photo sessions. Like I remember before we left America we had a photo session, and I want to be more comfortable with that, but right now that really scares me, because also I don't know how to post for photos at all. Like I'm just so awkward. Like insert pictures of me post, like it's embarrassing. Like I feel really awkward in front of the camera, and it's weird considering I'm a full-time YouTuber, but I'm really uncomfortable in front of the camera when it comes to pictures. I also want to complete all my laser hair removals. I also want to be a lot more intentional with the clothes that I buy, and I want to create an album of all of my favorite outfits. Basically, I'm gonna put a video of what this looks like, but with the new iOS update, there was like a way to like extract the picture of you and your outfit, and then you can put it in your notes app. And I also want to do a 30-day learning how to do my hair challenge. I've seen this on TikTok and I really want to do this because as a child, that was a really big hobby of mine, was doing all these really difficult, cool braiding hairstyles. Like you can ask my mom. Every few days I was like, Mom, today I'm gonna braid your hair, and I would do all this really like Cute Girls Hairstyles, I think it was the YouTube channel. I did every single hairstyle on there, and I wanted to be a hairdresser for a long time. So I really love doing hair, but now I don't. Like I just do the same thing all the time, especially now like I got a fringe, so I have to like pin it back. So right now with the fringe it's a little bit more difficult because I can't really do much, but maybe like later in the year when it grows out a bit, I would love to do this challenge to see like all the different ways my hair can look, because right now I do the same thing every day and I want to go outside of my comfort zone with my hair. And then the habit for this goal is I want to start hair oiling like twice a week maybe. Next objective goal is to upgrade my home. So I want to do a 30-day home upgrade TikTok series where it's like every day I like either fix something in my home or like buy something that I was missing for a long time. I want to do that, but I need money for that, so I'm going to do that a little bit later. I have a goal here that says decorate and upgrade home, which is very vague, but within that goal I have already written out like 10 different things in my house that I wanted to like fix. Like for example, I have these like little flowers on my bathroom walls that are so ugly, and I can see that it's really easy to take them off, but it's not like, it doesn't take like a minute, it would take like 30 minutes. So I have like a few little things that I would change. And then the habit I have for this is to clean my apartment every single night before bed, because this affects my mood so much in the morning. The next category is self-improvement. So my first objective goal is to work on my mindset and spirituality in general, like learn more. So I want to complete Nina Verkoyen's courses. Nina Verkoyen is like, right now she mostly makes content in Russian, but I have noticed she has started to make more content in English. 99% of her content right now is in Russian. Me and my mom have bought every single one of her courses. Like they're not courses, they're more like lectures, and even one worth like 10 minutes you learn so much from. And we have hours and hours of content from her. So, and I also at some point want to go to a yoga meditation retreat. I want to do that in Bali. So hopefully those two goals can be like ticked together. And the habits for working on my mindset are to meditate at least 15 minutes every single day, doing reprogramming journaling, which is basically, I talked about it in my morning routine before, but I do want to make a whole separate video about this one day because it's life-changing. And I also want to do shadow work maybe like once a week. Next objective goal is to work with others to help me grow. This is a really weird wording, but I didn't know how to word this because basically, first of all, I want to start going to therapy regularly because I've never tried therapy. And I also want to start working with a personal coach. So this can be either a business coach or a productivity coach. I don't really know which one yet, but one of them, because I feel like it would be really useful. I want to try it out. If it doesn't work, it's fine, but just to know. Next category is social. So I only have 2 objective goals here. The first objective goal is to work on my family relationships. So the habit I have here is to call my babushka every single week because I don't speak to her as often as I would like to. Right now, I used to call her every 2 weeks. And then after I moved to Spain, I started calling her once a month. So I want to go back to once a week. I definitely want to add more here, but like right now I'm at that point where I'm like, I know we can do better, but I don't know how. I have really good relationships with my family, but for example, distant family, I would like to get closer to them. And for example, I have family in Russia that I've never met, so I would love to get closer. Yeah, but I have one specific goal within this though, is I want to fly out my brother Niall for a Juventus game. This is so random. It was just kind of like a bucket list goal. Like, I don't know, like I have other siblings, like I have 4 siblings in total, but it was just specifically him. Like, he came to Barcelona a few months ago with my mom because he's only 10, but he came to Barcelona and we watched the Barcelona game, and he's not even a big fan of Barcelona, and he had so much fun, and I was just like, I had a lot of fun as well. That was actually the first time where I was like, oh, I might like football, and now I actually enjoy watching football. And after that I was like, oh my god, I want to fly him out for a game of his favorite team, and his favorite team is Juventus. And the next social goal is I want to make new friends and connections. So I want to meet 50 new people. It's gonna be weird for me to track this, but it's not really like if I meet a new person, I can like write down their name in a Notion database. That sounds really odd, but it's not. I think that's gonna be more of a quarter 2, 3, and 4 goal. So first quarter of the year, I want to focus more on my habits, my routines, my business goals. Summertime, I am going social. I don't care if it's like a new person every day for like 2 weeks, but I feel like the first few months of the year, I would like to meet new people, but it's not going to be my highest priority. And the last category we have is social media. So the first goal we have is to grow my YouTube channel. And the goals I have within that is to, first of all, reach 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube. This is a high number, but I'm not scared of it. It's kind of like the thing I mentioned to you earlier. If I don't reach it, it's fine. The fact that I'm reaching higher will allow me to put systems and habits into place and take more risks and get me much closer to that goal, rather than if I just set a realistic goal. So 1.5 million subscribers, and I'm getting comfortable with that number. I don't care if it sounds out of reach. To me, it doesn't. Bro, Jake Paul, I'm sorry to use Jake Paul as an example, but how many did he get in 6 months? Oh, it was in his song, 5 million on YouTube. 5 million in 6 months. I'm not Jake Paul at all, but it can be done. The next thing I want to do is I want to learn about YouTube SEO, because I don't know anything about it, and there's definitely something in those tags. Like, when you make a YouTube video, you put the tags, and I always put like 5 tags of like something like very basic, and then I look up like what are the tags that are most used, like when people watch my videos, like what tags do they search. Most of the time it's just my name, and I'm just like, that means the people that are watching me are people that already know me, which is great. I love you guys, thank you for coming back, but there's obviously something that I'm not getting with reaching out to new people. Also, oh my god, writing a new goal right now, work on my thumbnails. Guys, someone even pointed out to me, I was like, I'm gonna start crying because it's true. I don't ever get hurt by comments, but that one hurt me because it was something I was already so self-conscious about. I'm so not happy with my thumbnails. It's always kind of like, I focus so much on the video that it comes to that point that it's like an hour, not even, it's like 15 minutes before the video comes out, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't have a thumbnail. Like, I don't have a thumbnail. And then, I don't know. I mean, it has kind of become a style of its own. Like, it's very like simplistic thumbnails, but I think I'm definitely not getting a very good click-through ratio or percentage or whatever it's called. So I want to have an idea of a thumbnail before I actually film the video. And the next 2 goals are to create a Russian and a Spanish channel. You might be like, what the heck? I don't mean these channels as like channels that I'm going to upload to frequently. Basically, let's talk about Mr. Beast for a minute. Mr. Beast, I don't know how much he's at now. He has over 100 million subscribers. And I respect him so much because he is extremely smart. I have listened to so many podcasts with him, but he started doing this thing where he started dubbing his videos in different languages. So it was the same video, but somebody would dub it in a different language. And now he has like Mr. Beast in Spanish, Mr. Beast in Portuguese, Mr. Beast in blah, blah, blah. And those videos, like, he's reaching out to so many more people, because even though a lot of people speak English, not a lot of people want to watch content in English. So there may be people that, for example, my dad, he speaks English, he understands English, but if he wants to look up how to use Notion, for example, he's not going to look up an English video, he's going to look up a Russian video. So there's a lot of people like that, and I have an opportunity to make videos in different languages, and I don't take that opportunity. For example, what I would do is, for example, I noticed that there's not as many Notion videos on the Russian side of YouTube like the English side, and I, as you know, love talking about Notion. Like, I love talking about Notion. And I was just like, why don't I create some of my Notion videos but in Russian? Like, of course, it's like I wouldn't post that often because like it's not gonna be a normal channel. It's almost just like a translation of my videos. But yeah, it's basically like an opportunity for people to find me in another language as well. The next objective goal is to grow my Instagram account. Once again, hefty goal, but I want to reach 1 million followers on Instagram. I don't know. I don't know. I also want to complete a full personal branding unpacking. Basically, this is like a collection of words that didn't make sense, but they make sense to me when I wrote it. Basically, I have seen people have like a self-concept page on Notion where it's kind of like a page on Notion where it's just like, this is who I am. This is kind of like what I'm about. This is my morals, blah, blah, blah. And I want to have that, but like for my brand. Like, what are things I talk about the most on my channel? What are the things, like for example, sometimes I meet someone and they're like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a YouTuber. They're like, what do you make videos about? What do you talk about? And I'm like, oh, I make vlogs. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I know my morals, I know what I make videos about, but when I have to share that, when I have to tell someone about it, I kind of get stuck. I'm like, wait, why do people follow me? Like, what is it that I make content about? And for habits, I want to get to a point where I'm uploading Instagram stories almost every day. I don't mind if it's like a day off, but it needs to be an intentional day off. Like, not as in like I forgot, but like I'm having a day off. And I also want to be replying to Instagram messages daily because I have this habit of like whenever people DM me, I see their DM and I like reply to it in my mind and then I forget that I didn't reply to it. So I wanted to actually start replying. The next objective goal is to start posting regularly on TikTok. So I want to reach 1 million on TikTok. That's a lot easier than Instagram. TikTok is like, phew. I want to create a Russian TikTok, which is essentially the same thing like I said with the channel. And I want to complete Project 50 twice. Project 50 is a really, really cool, like basically I just need to find a time where I'm at home for 50 days that I could do this challenge, but I want to do it twice, at one point in the beginning of the year, one point maybe towards the end of the year. I also want to grow our podcast, so I have a podcast with my sister and my cousin, and I want to complete 3 seasons of it. And I also want to improve my quality of content. So I have this course by Nathaniel Drew and Johnny Harris, which, oh my god, biggest inspirations of my life, I swear to god. But they have a visual storytelling class, and I watched it before, but I feel like I could learn so much from it if I watch it again, so I really want to watch it. My battery is flashing at me and I'm finished. That was such a rushed ending. I've been filming for like 2.5 hours. So leave me your top goals in the comments down below. And I will see you guys tomorrow with a whole Notion setup and this whole system of how everything works, because my Notion, oh my god, my Notion page, I don't want to like toot my own horn, but this page is amazing. I love it. I will see you guys tomorrow. Also, language goals will be a separate video, so don't think I just left them out. Anyway, bye, peace out, love you all.